Hi, I'm going to show you how to make this silk ribbon embroidery bee. So I've got some 2mm pure silk white embroidery thread from craftyattic.com, and I'm just going to now start working on the head of my little bee. I'm going to do 2 French knots side by side. If you haven't done a French knot before, you bring the ribbon up through the fabric, wind it 3 times around the needle and pass the needle back down through the fabric and pull tight, and you'll form a little knot there. I'm now going to do a row of 3 French knots, so starting in the centre of the previous 2, I'm going to do 1 and then I'm going to do a French knot to either side of that. So once again, wind 3 times, pull tight around the needle and pass the needle back down through the fabric. Once more, the thread up through, wind 3 times, pass back down through the fabric again. I've got a bit of a messy tail on that one, so this one I'm just going to take the tail and sew it underneath the next French knot, so you can tidy up as you go if you get a few mucky ones. So I'm going to now do the second row of 3 French knots here. So I'm doing these directly beneath the other 3. And now I'm just going to go 2 French knots on this row. So I'm aiming between, slightly between and below the other French knots in the 3. Now I'm going to do another row of 3 French knots. And we're now just forming the body of our bee. So what we've done so far is his head. And we're just working on his body. So his body is 3 French knots wide. And you can put about 4, 5 or 6 rows of French knots depending on how big you want your bee to be. So I've just put some more ribbon on there. You find that French knots use a surprising amount of ribbon. So you can cut yourself quite a nice long length when you're doing this. The ribbons from Crafty Attic are very high quality, so they'll stand up to passing through the fabric very many times. They won't fray or disintegrate, so you don't need to worry about that. So I'm just continuing now to work these little French knots. And eventually I'm going to come down into his bottom. I'm going to do 2 French knots and finally 1 French knot to form the point on his tail. Just coming down and doing a last little knot to form his little bottom. So now I'm going to use the same thread to come up to make some antenna for him. So I'm twisting the thread, or sorry, I'm rather twisting the ribbon so that I've got a cylindrical thread. So I'm now going to work the same threads. I'm going to do some little legs for him, making sure that there's 2 stitches in each leg so that he has a joint and looks like a realistic leg. So having the front legs face forward and the back legs face backward, so we get a nice arrangement of limbs. So you can always put another twist or 2 in this ribbon if you want to as you're going along. Just twisting the ribbon a bit more there. Okay, so there's my bee body. I've got a couple of pro markers, different shades of brown, and I'm just going to touch the French knots here with the end of the permanent marker, These are permanent markers, so they won't fade, they won't bleed out into your backing fabric either. They're very well behaved. So I'm always going to use 2 colours whenever I'm colouring a piece of work, so that I get a nice deep effect. So I'm just colouring in the little legs here just by touching very gently the silk ribbon with the pen and just allowing the silk ribbon to draw the dye. So I've got some bright check pearl here. This is a kind of cylindrical spring, and you can either couch it down and hide your threads in the springy bits, or you can thread it onto your needle and use it a bit like a bead. So I'm going to cut a piece off which is about the right width for my bee, or is about as long as my bee's wide. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So I'm now just going to bring a regular sewing thread up through the fabric to one side of the bee, thread on the bright check pearl onto my needle, and then do another stitch back down the other side of the bee. So that will give me one of my bee stripes, and you just repeat the process a few more times to form the rest of the stripes on your bee. You can get bright check pearl from us at Crafty Attic. Okay, so just thread it on there, your needle again. And just pull the thread through. It's a very nice, effective, quick way of getting some lovely shiny gold bee stripes. So once again, we're just going to cut this. You don't have to use wire cutters or anything, this is just a normal pair of little scissors. And you can see it threads onto a needle nice and easily. So another stripe there. Maybe one more. So there we go. There's the body of our bee finished. Oh, got a few tangles there, just pull those out. That's what you get for using a double thread. Okay, so now we're going to work on the wings. So I've got some 7mm organza ribbon, and I'm just, or 10mm I think actually, just bring it up through the fabric. You might need to use a pair of pliers because organza ribbon is a lot fatter than the silk ribbon. And so now I'm just going to flatten out the ribbon. I'm going to do, to begin with, a twisted ribbon stitch, and I'm going to turn that into a reverse ribbon stitch. So you're twisting the ribbon, passing the organza back down through the centre of itself, allowing the ends just to turn over slightly, and then turning that ribbon so that it's the right way round to get a nice wing shape. So once again, we're bringing the organza up through the fabric. Organza doesn't behave quite as nicely as silk ribbon does. So then we're going to do a twisted ribbon stitch. So twist the ribbon, pass the ribbon back down through the centre of itself. Allow the ends to curl over slightly as you pull, and then just flatten it out. Don't pull too hard or you will not get a nice raised wing effect. So there's our little bee, he's finished. The silk ribbon and the pearl used in this project are available from craftyattic.com. I hope you have a go and I hope you enjoy what you do. Thank you very much for watching this film.